I know. I said I'll be back in a couple of weeks. Ugh. Has been a bit longer than that. So sorry about that. So before we start talking about the film that we are talking about today, I do want to give a little update on what I've been doing and obviously where I am. I live in London now, temporarily for about 3 years. I'm going to be studying film in West London, which is pretty cool. In terms of what I've been doing since the last video, in all honesty, not a lot. Not a lot. I started a blog, that'll be linked down below if you want to have a look at that. But yeah, it's just, if I'm being completely honest with you, I could not be asked. But now I'm back, I'm going to university, feeling pretty motivated, so yeah, back on it now, so you can expect content a bit more often. So the film we're talking about today is The Wailing. The Wailing I'd wanted to watch since 2018, and I watched it, I want to say, July time. And since I watched it that first time, I've watched it twice again, because I couldn't believe just how good it was. It's entirely possible that The Wailing is probably one of the best horror films of the last 10 years, if not the last 20. It's really, really good. So, just a little bit of what it's about. It follows a Korean police officer who lives in a town where strange things have started happening since the arrival of a Japanese stranger. And these things start to get more and more demonic and supernatural as the film goes on. And by the end of the film, there's some batshit stuff happening. And it is really, really good. So yeah, let's get into the good parts of The Wailing. I want to kick it off talking about the characters. Absolutely fantastic. I can't fault the development. Not on any of the characters. There's even characters who don't have more than 15 lines, who in those 15 lines, they turn into a different person. Just if you just watch them and their actions, it just changes. It's fantastic. By the end, I'll make you a guarantee, right? If you're going to watch this, I guarantee you, yeah, within the first hour, you will be completely invested. Completely and wholly into it, and you will want to watch that film through to the end. One character that stands out to me is that Japanese stranger. I'll touch on it a bit more kind of further on, but you see him from a lot of different viewpoints, and you are left to decide what you think about him. And whatever you think he is, paints him in a completely different light. And when you think about it like that, it just shows the level of detail that has gone into this film. And that's a recurring theme, is detail. There is so many small details in The Wailing that you catch new ones every watch. I've watched it 3 times. Each time I found something new. Films like that I absolutely adore. It's so good. Moving on, the acting again. I can't fault it. It's just every single person just gives it their complete all, and you can tell they're all having such a good time in this film, and it's infectious. You will start to enjoy yourself, even though there are some parts of this film that make it feel like you have let something evil into the room that you're watching it in. You can still kind of tell they're having fun, so am I. It's so good. And in terms of the daughter, the actor who plays the main character's daughter, probably the best child performance since Danny in The Shining. It is mega good, like super good. I've not seen anything kind of coming close, apart from maybe the kid in the Sixth Sense. Maybe he's damn good as well. But yeah, all performances all around amazing. And again, looping back, the guy who plays the Japanese stranger, he has to play, without spoiling it too much, the guy who plays him has to play about 3 characters. He has to completely change mindset, and you can't, there's no difficulty there. He does it seamlessly. It's absolutely incredible. Moving on, editing. It's not something really touch on, because the most I know how to do is cut some stuff together in Premiere Pro. But the editing in this film, it's obvious how well it's used. You can tell when it's being used for certain effects. So, for example, there is one scene where an exorcism is performed, and the father asks the shaman, he says, "So what are we going to do?" And then it kind of lingers on his face for a second, and then it hard cuts to this shaman in full feathers and costume, just screaming and banging a drum. It's little things like that. You can tell. It's these hard cuts, there's a lot of them. And as well, sometimes like, editing is used for more suspenseful things. So again, cutaways when you're just about to see something. It's really, really well used. It's the director and the whole crew have made sure that every single tool at their disposal has been used properly. And that shines through, because this film is honestly, it's easy to throw around the word perfect, but when you're talking about a film this good, there's no other word to describe it. And then pacing as well. I'm someone that tends to struggle with longer films. Like, for example, it took me 3 tries to watch The Irishman. I had a problem with The Irishman. I couldn't get through it. It took me a long, long time. The Wailing comes in at about 2 hours 40, and you see that and you think, oh, God, okay, big investment, maybe going to drag a bit, but not at all. I blinked and it was like an hour in. It's crazy how fast this film goes by. And the main way it does that is it forces you to ask yourself these little questions like, why is he doing that? Why has he made that face when, in context of his character, he should be making this face? Why? And the best part is, it doesn't give you the answers. So you're asking yourself these questions and keeping yourself wrapped up in the story because you want to know. And by the end of it, you ain't got the answers, but you fucking love the film. So last bit we're going to talk about is the plot. So obviously, with the plot comes heavy spoilers. So if you haven't seen it, or you're thinking you're a bit on the fence, I implore you, please, go and watch it, and then come back here. I would kill to have that first watch experience again for this film, because I've never been captivated by a film like this before. It's super good. So when you're talking about the plot of this film, it's hard not to talk about the twists. I love a twist in a film. My favourite film is Oldboy. So I haven't got to say much if you've seen Oldboy. If you haven't seen Oldboy, go and watch it as well. A+, amazing. Can't fault it, much like this one. There is about 3 twists in this film. And by the end of it, you'll kind of look at it as a whole film and think, was that a twist? Or is the director leading me away from what actually is? There's 2 main characters, and there's 2, I guess you could call them possible protagonists. There's the old man, the Japanese stranger, and a girl in white. And through twists and plot points associated with them, there are a lot of ways that their characters can be interpreted. For example, the film portrays the man as the evil one. He is the reason for everything going on. He's the devil. But then there are parts and scenes and little plot points and details that make you think maybe she's evil. Which one is it? Doesn't tell you. You can find hundreds, and I mean hundreds of threads talking about the Wailing and what they think that ending means. And I still don't know what I think. That I can't decide, and honestly, I'm okay with that because I'm just captivated by it every time I watch it, so I don't really think about the end, and I'm just in awe of how good this film is. So, like Mandy, I've obviously got to grade it on a F to A+. The Wailing gets an A+. I can't find fault. I've watched it 3 times, and every single time I've just sat there at the end just thinking, wow, this is a different beast. This is something perfect, masterpiece. Again, that's another word that's quite easy to throw around, but when talking about the Wailing, it's hard not to put that word in the pot. It's so good. So if you have made it this far, thanks for watching. I'm sorry it took me so long to get another video out, but I should be getting some more stuff out relatively soon. I've got a lot I want to talk about, and I know this isn't the colour out of space or the Only God Forgives thing I talked about. Liar! But I will be doing those eventually. I can't promise that they're next because I've got a few ideas for things that I do want to make, but they will be coming eventually. In the description you can find a link to the blog and the blog's Instagram page if you do want to have a little read about some stuff. There is a few pieces on there, not much yet because I only started recently, but yeah, that's the Wailing. Even if you have watched through the spoiler parts, please still go and watch it. There's a lot I still haven't spoken about, so yeah, go and give it a watch, and I should hopefully be seeing you soon.